Hi, everyone. Welcome to Real Estate on the Front Range, my podcast where I cover all things real estate here on the Front Range in Northern Colorado. Join me to get market updates, tips, and information on relevant topics to make sure you're fully informed before you buy or sell your next home. Hi, everyone. Sean Gilliam here with Location Real Estate. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another episode of my podcast, Real Estate on the Front Range. In this episode, I'm going to be covering the market update for September. I'll take a look at the most recent data. I'll show you some data sheets as well as some charts that give you an idea of how the market has been trending from the summer until now. But also want to highlight some important news. Mortgage interest rates, if you've noticed, have gone down rather significantly in the last couple of weeks. So right now we're sitting at about 6.15% for a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. So that's great news as far as purchasing power for buyers, and for sellers that potentially brings more buyers to the table that might be interested in your home. So it's good for the market overall. We'll see how it plays out here as we're getting into the fall. There's always opinions about whether or not an election has a big impact on whether or not people are buying and selling homes. But one thing that is very real is affordability. So that is something that keeps more people on the sidelines. So we'll see if these lower rates bring more people to the market. There is news of that nationally, but we'll see how much of an impact that has on our local market here in Northern Colorado. Also want to highlight for you that mortgage rates, as far as a forecast, they're probably, if they go down any further, it'll probably be minimal. Just the way the market dynamics work, it's not going to be anything that we're going to see a big drop like we have in the last couple of weeks. So if you're thinking about buying, this would be a good time to buy. Get yourself started with a pre-approval. I can help you with that process. But this is a good time to start looking at the market if it is affordable for you. Also, something that's important to discuss is that things have changed on how we do real estate here across the country, not just Colorado. If you've paid attention to the news and you've seen headlines about the NAR settlement, there are new rules that are enforced by the MLS as to how we conduct business and how we handle compensation agreements. And so before all this happened, it used to be that if you were a buyer, you would contact me, we'd get an idea of what you were looking for, review some paperwork and how the whole process works. And then we go out and start looking at homes. And what I was going to get paid was stated on the MLS. And by and large, that didn't interfere with your process of buying a home. It didn't cost you any money out of pocket because my brokerage firm was getting paid from the seller's brokerage firm, and everything was taken care of. So all you had to do was think about what kind of house you wanted, what community you wanted to live in, how much you wanted to have your monthly payment be, and those kinds of things. All the fun stuff that you think of when it comes to buying a house. However, there have been some changes. The settlement was about price fixing or compensation fixing. And whether or not that's true, it might be in some cases. But here in Colorado, compensation was always negotiable. And so that wasn't a thing that we really had to be that concerned about because that was communicated to buyers and sellers alike. So now the way it works is that if you're a buyer, you get pre-qualified for a home. And then we have also a discussion about how I'm going to get paid. Now, like I said before, by default, the seller would pay me out of the net proceeds of the home. That's just the way it worked in most cases, unless the seller just didn't want to pay or whatever the case may be. Now, the seller, it's made very clear that the seller is not obligated to pay, and you potentially will have to pay me. And so the way the wording in the contracts, they've changed it so that regardless, you are obligated to pay me if I'm representing you. So I know that sounds scary, but let me encourage you, everything's negotiable. And even when we write an offer, those kinds of things are negotiable. There's supposed to be a set price or compensation that the seller is willing to give and a set amount of compensation that I'm requiring for my services. And then we have a meeting of the minds and negotiate from there. So I explain this in more fully or more in detail in my brokerage disclosure to buyer video that I put out. I also put out a separate video that talks about the compensation agreement that we give to buyers on first meeting. That's just a disclosure that points out my level of service that I can provide to you, as well as what I charge for my services. And you can see the video, but like I said, it's just a disclosure. It doesn't obligate you to work with me. And then if you want me to exclusively work for you and showing you homes and writing you offers and those kinds of things, that's when we look at that exclusive right to buy contract. So again, I'm putting some videos together. They're out there. You can check it out on my YouTube channel. And that way you're more fully informed about what buying a home looks like right now. Now, behind the scenes, there's a lot of changes, but in the process of buying and selling a home, it might not be a noticeable difference depending on how the parties negotiate together. So it might feel just like it did before, but there's a lot more upfront conversation about compensation. So check those videos out. I think they'll be helpful for you. And then, like I said, I have some data here that I want to share with you. So we'll get to that here in a minute. And it just highlights how the market has been trending and what some of the factors that are impacting the market overall. So stay tuned as we get to that. All right, let's go ahead and get into the data. I'm going to briefly touch on what's going on in Boulder, Larimer, and Weld County as far as the overall month of August. I'll highlight a couple of important metrics here, and then I want to jump over to some other charts to kind of show you how things have been trending throughout the summer. But let's go ahead and take a look at this. The one I want to highlight is days on market until sale. That is up 36.2% from last year at this time. So 64 days on the market before a home goes under contract. And then I want to jump down. As you can see, most of the other data is fairly static, not significant changes overall. But when we get down to inventory of homes for sale, compared to last year, it's up 30%. So 851 homes on the market in Boulder County compared to 654 homes last year at this time. And you can see our month supply of inventory is up 20%. So 3.6 months supply of inventory. And that's how long it would take if you were to stop the market right now and just sell all the current inventory at the rate of sale at which they've been selling. It would take about 3.6 months. That's compared to 3 months last year at this time. We'll see similar significant changes in Larimer County. Days on market until sale is up 27.5%. It's 65 days compared to 51 last year. Then we jump down here to inventory of homes for sale. It's up 41.9% in Larimer County. So there's 1,270 homes on the market compared to 895 homes on the market last year at this time. And then the month supply of inventory is up 52%, very significant. So 3.8 months homes, 3.8 months supply of inventory compared to 2.5 last year at this time. And then jumping over to Weld County, we can see a fairly significant increase in days on market until sale. It's up 19.2%. So 62 days on the market before home goes under contract compared to 52 days last year at this time. And then our inventory of homes for sale is up 19.3%. So there's 1,172 homes on the market in Weld County compared to 982 last year at this time. And our month supply of inventory for Weld County is up 25% at 3 months supply of inventory compared to 2.4 last year at this time. So I think it's important to point out when homes are staying on the market longer and inventory is increasing, it means homes are not selling as fast. And there's a few reasons that I can contribute to why that would be happening. One is affordability is a fairly significant factor. Interest rates have been higher. And only recently have they gone down. We're in the low sixes right now. And so that is good. So we'll see what that does to our data for next month. But right now, we're seeing the data from August, and it's showing that the market is not moving as fast and homes are staying on the market longer. And that therefore that data for inventory of homes for sale keeps going up. But now I want to jump over to some important charts. That'll get me out of the way there. I want to start with average days on market. We just highlighted that on the other graph, our other data sheet. But looking at this, the average days on market has gone up. So we saw a pop here back in February of 2023, and then it went down. And as you recall, interest rates were a little bit lower back then, comparable to what they are now, a little bit higher. So we saw a significant drop in the days on market because buyers were out buying. But then, of course, it goes up seasonally during the winter. But then we see here we are at the end of summer in August, and it's gone back up again. So again, that's just an indication. Affordability is a factor. Interest rates have been a factor, and who knows how the election plays into that. But there's multiple variables that are causing homes to stay on the market longer and buyers not as active. And then we can hop over here to percent of list price received. So this metric reflects, based on the original list price, how much the home is selling for at closing, or the final purchase price, compared to the original list price. And we can see that this number is dropping here just in August. It's been relatively low. This is compared to 2022, when in the spring market, that was right before the interest rates went up above 7. But homes were selling for fairly well above list price. That was when the market was really hot. But now we're looking at 94.7% for Boulder County, 96.9% for Larimer County, and 98% for Weld County. Now, I do want to point out that this data is slightly different than the data sheet we just looked at, only because the information here represents August and then all the activity that has gone on here in the early part of September. So that's why there's some variation there. Now I want to take a look at month supply of inventory, just to show you how that's been trending overall. You can see seasonal ups and downs, but overall the trend line, is going upwards. And that's just an indication, again, that because homes are sitting on the market longer and there's not as much buyer activity, that the month supply of inventory is increasing. And then showings per listing. I thought this would be interesting to show you. We can look back here to April of 21. That was in the middle of the intensity of the COVID market. That's when homes were flying off the shelves. We had lower interest rates, and affordability was not as big of an issue for a lot of buyers because of those lower interest rates and because prices hadn't peaked by that point, although they were going up fairly significantly. So we can see 18 showings in April 2021 per listing, 15 in Larimer County, 11.7 in Weld County. And then we saw some bumps, that there's the spring market again. And then it's gone down and it's stayed down for the most part until we get down to, even the spring market here, as you can see, didn't show much of a pop. That's just an indication because those interest rates were above 7%. Affordability is now a thing because prices went up so much during this period of time over here. And here we are now in August of 24, and on average, we have about 4.4 showings per listing in Boulder County, 3.9 in Larimer County, and 4.3 in Weld County. And as I've been working in this market, a lot of times it's crickets. And you can do price reductions and still not much of a response. We do see a slight bump in activity when the interest rates have gone lower, as they have in just the last couple of weeks. So that's a good sign. That shows that there is some pent-up demand with buyers. But I kind of get the sense that they want it to go much lower than where it's at. They want to see it in the 5s. And we'll see if we get there. The Federal Reserve just dropped the prime rate by 0.5. So we'll see what kind of an impact that has on mortgage interest rates. Although when I tune into the economic experts, they say it's not going to impact the mortgage interest rate that much because the lower interest rate that we have right now is already built in to their metrics. So that's above my pay grade. All I look for is where those mortgage rates are at. So that is what is going on in Boulder, Larimer, and Weld counties. Again, we'll see with the rates dropping, what that does to the data and the overall market activity when we look at next month's data. So be on the lookout for that market update. Don't hesitate to get in touch if you have any questions. I'd be glad to talk with you about anything or give you or answer any questions and give you some updates on the changes as far as the MLS rules and how buyers are potentially liable for compensating their broker. We look forward to talking to you soon. Phone number here is 970-313-6706, or at the end of the video, you'll see my contact information there as well. Take care, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Take care.